Welcome back to another episode of Jacksonville Buzz's Buzzworthy Businesses. I'm Steve Strum, here as always, Dave Permenter. How you doing, man?
Dandy, brother.
Good to see you. It is good to see you, but I see you all the time. I don't, I care about you. But we also have this fabulous guest.
Probably don't want to talk about me.
You know what? We talk about you a lot, and sometimes it's behind your back, but it's all good stuff.
Okay.
All good stuff. But we're here actually to talk to Scot Andrews from Prime IV Hydration St. Augustine. Welcome to the show. All right,
here.
Prime IV.
How are you?
I'm good. I think everybody knows what an IV is, but you are doing something a lot different in nutrient therapy, I think. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about what Prime IV is.
Well, Prime IV is a national brand. We have over 150 locations throughout the country right now. There's another 100 plus locations being built. I'm an area developer for Prime IV. I own the location in St. Augustine, Florida, as well as Destin. I operate that with my lovely wife, Donna. And we focus on clients that are looking to improve their health and nutrient intake so that they feel better, they are more clear-minded, and that they just feel like that they're benefiting from the nutrients that they take.
You want to lay down and get an IV?
Well, I've done it. I've done it.
Let's
it's
go
a
get
good thing.
Well, let's get the producers. We're going to do a demo right here.
It's a good thing.
So, IVs. Just to be clear on that, and we talked a little bit offset, I am absolutely terrified of needles. My mother's a blood analyst, my father's a type 1 diabetic, and that is something that I've grown up with, and it's a healthy fear. But what you're talking about is giving somebody an IV voluntarily, not going through like the hospitals and stuff like that. This is a facility that you go and you pay. Why would I go and pay you to stick me with a needle on purpose?
That's a great question. I think if you think about it, there's clients that know what IV therapy is, and they understand that you got to put a needle in to put a catheter in to be able. And a catheter is a tube, right, to take the nutrients. And then there's a lot of folks that are really just they're afraid of needles, and that comes down to making sure that we have the right talent, we have the right nurses that have a lot of experience inserting catheters, because believe it or not, it can be painless. Mm-hmm. Most of the time it is painless. There's always clients that have tougher veins to find, and the talent of the nurses, and that's part of our talent acquisition and development. That's really the key to making clients feel safe and comfortable in that environment.
In all sincerity, I have done IV therapy. My wife took me there, and it was, when I went there, it was a little bit of a head scratcher. But yeah, if you have the right talent, it doesn't hurt. So the folks that are watching this going, ooh, I don't know if I want to do an IV. What are the benefits that your company is bringing to people, whether they're young or old, healthy, unhealthy, somewhere in between? What is that value proposition that you're seeing through this delivery mechanism of the therapy through IV?
I think there's a couple. I think the first one that comes to mind is the absorption rate. So when you take nutrient therapy directly into your veins, basically you're getting 100% absorption. And if you think about all of the different types of nutrients there are, vitamin D, there's multiple B vitamins, calcium, zinc, magnesium chloride, all those vitamins together, right, coming through. So absorption, 100%. I also think the Prime brand was predicated also on making people feel comfortable in a spa environment. You come in, you sit in a zero gravity massage chair, low light, blanket, medical grade oxygen. Oxygen helps your body metabolize as well in your cells. And so creating that spa environment to be able to take nutrient therapy is really what our clients tell us sets us apart. The absorption rate is really the key.
When a client comes in, client, not patient, correct? Client?
Correct.
When a client comes in, how do you know you have a menu of various, I'll call them cocktails, different mixes? How do you know what to administer?
Well, the first thing we do is every client gets a medical intake form. We either do that before they get there. Our nurses review the medical intake form. That tells us if there's any kind of history of any kind of contraindications, things that would prevent you from having an IV. We're incredibly safe as a 797 compounder. We could talk about that separately, but that medical intake form is the foundation by which we do a consultation with the client. In that medical intake form, it's not only what's going on with them medically, but how they're feeling. Are they sleeping well? Are they clear-minded? Are they thinking? Are there things going on? Are they athletes that are in pain, or are they having particular problems? The nurse wants to talk through those types of things and then educate them on the nutrients and which nutrients will help those particular things that are going on in their life. And that consultation is the foundation. So sure, we have a menu of what I would call great drips of multiple nutrients, but we can also customize that based on what's going on.
Absolutely fascinating. It is amazing medical science. It's like, the fountain of youth. As we take it away, something I'd love to know from you, having gone through that experience, as a consumer, right? What was your experience when you went in? Kind of talk the audience through that for somebody who's watching this going, oh, IV therapy, it's for me, it's like, down and like going to the dentist, man.
Well, right on. Well, no, see, I hate going to the dentist. I dread that. But
that's another episode of A Healthy Fear of the Dentist.
I would say there's absolutely nothing to fear, even if you're afraid of needles. This is painless. It's an experience. It's not just going and getting an IV. It is an experience, and you're treated like royalty. When you come in, and there's just nothing to fear. Is there a particular category of person for whom it is not advisable to come in for the drip?
That's a great question.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a tough question. I don't know. Just thinking through that from obviously anybody that exceeds the contraindications. Typically a contraindication will be around your kidney processing. High blood pressure is something that's difficult. Liver. All of those things that are processing toxins and fluids. For example, when you do put IV when you take an IV, you're adding pressure into your circulatory system, right? So there are limits for blood pressure and so forth. And our protocols are just not negotiable when it comes to safety. So that's part of the
fantastic.
That's part of the intake. And not only that, the 797 compounding, how you compound nutrients into bags and additives and pushes. There are nutrients that can contradict one another, and so the science of how we put those together are all in our protocols and recipes. So
do me a favor, count 3 in your head silently, and then start with the nutrients, because then they'll edit out the phone.
Say that.
Count to 3 in your head, and then start with the nutrients piece, because what they're going to do is they're going to cut that phone.
Sorry about that.
The nutrients when you're doing an IV, when you're actually putting together the nutrients, there are certain nutrients that contradict one another inside of into an IV bag of fluid, and so those would have to be administered through a push. So all of those protocols are something that we take very seriously to make sure you get the maximum benefit of the nutrient mix that we've put together for you for your particular IV.
That is just such a fascinating thing. So, what we'll do, right, is we'll put your information on our website, which is thedailynewsnetwork.com. They can come check you out. It sounds like you have more people that are candidates that are not. It sounds like the not candidates is a very small bucket.
Correct.
And the people that are watching this going, wow, I need to check that out. People like myself going, ooh, needles. It's a painless experience. It's a therapeutic environment that's a spa type of an experience versus the clinical thing that people think about when they go to get their blood drawn. And what we'll do is put your stuff there so they come check you out, see where your locations are, see where the benefits are all. And it's really neat that you guys are doing it. It's a really cool thing that you see kind of people using technology with health extending opportunities for people of all ages and walks of life. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Scott.
Great to be here.
Can't do it without you, man. So good to see you.
You
always.
could, but I'm glad you don't.
But you know what? We can't do it without the people right in here. So,
right.
Guys, if you want to check out thedailynewsnetwork.com to go check out Scot's company with Prime IV Hydration and St. Augustine and all around the United States, go check out the website. If you like this episode, make sure you share it. And remember, live with gratitude.